Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is your boy Tanveer Side, Blind Man Reviews, and also another channel, The Bengal Dragon. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons, as all your support really helps this legally blind YouTube content creator to remain motivated to continue making a different type of videos on both channels, and through the YouTube algorithm would really help this channel grow. My sincerest apologies for the lack of content on this specific channel, Blind Man Reviews, because life happens, and sometimes life happens very fast, very tumultuously. So as of right now, my content regarding the digital talking book reviews is on a temporary hiatus at the moment. But I just thought, I had a bit of unique experiences as a legally blind person. So I just thought I would share them with you. Right. First, just to give everyone context, right? I'm a legally blind person living in Central Florida, not in Orlando. Okay, a bit away from Orlando, but we have our own airport. Um, so I live right next to the my university campus, and um, if anyone has lived in Florida, you will know that, especially outside of the cities, bigger cities, Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville, I'm not even sure I want to put Tampa in there. I'm not even sure about that. But because the little bit I've seen about Tampa, I'm like, um, this one constant seems to ring true. Public transportation is not very well developed, especially in places which are not the main cities of Florida. So as a result, a lot of commuting is um, dependent on basically walking or Ubering. And no, I can't afford to Uber each and every place that I go. No, I'm not like, filthy rich. I mean, if I was filthy rich, I wouldn't have lived in Florida. I would have lived in DC or something. Right. But that being said, so I am what they call is essentially light perception visual acuity. Light perception visual acuity is a bit more of an umbrella term. It's something that whose visual acuity cannot be measured, with any type of reasonable respectability. Like visual acuity is usually measured in feet over 60. And that 20/20 thing, those are meters, those are not feet. Okay, so in feet is, the denominator is always 60. Let's say if you have a visual acuity of maybe, let's say 20 over 5,000 or 20 over 1,000 or something like that, something ridiculously small, then to the best of my understanding, that is considered light perception. It's just too negligible to properly, numerate, basically. All right. So a couple of experiences. And no, I don't have service dogs. I don't have seeing eye dogs. Okay. I live right next to a Walmart. Okay. My first experience on one of my usual trips to Walmart, and given that this is the summertime in Florida, so you always have to have an umbrella with you, especially if you don't have the protection of a car. Okay. And if you're walking all everywhere. On one of my trips to the neighborhood Walmart, just I believe a couple of days ago. Was it a couple of days, or was it Saturday? Yeah. For the first time in my life, I actually got chased by a dog. Now, this has never happened before, considering that I am in Florida. And Florida people, a lot of them have dogs. A lot of them. I've always noticed almost every dog that I've come across who is not a service animal constantly barks at me. However, the dogs that I did find who are service animals, and some of them are, some of these dogs are as big as ambush predators. Okay. They don't mind, or they never barked at me. Okay. So usually dogs are supposed to be on a leash, and this dog was on the backseat of someone's car, and this person, I believe, a male and female. The male was loading up the trunk with groceries, and I was about to run into him. So he basically guided me through, and said that okay, bring out your cane. Here's another car. Here's another trunk that's open. Just don't bang your head against the back of this trunk. I'm like, okay, so I moved on, and the dog was barking. All of a sudden, I heard the owner, screaming the dog's name, and I realized I was in trouble. So at that point, I did not know what any of the dog laws are. I don't know if you're allowed to defend yourself. I don't know. Should you run? Should you, do something else? Whatever. I did not want to get into a lawsuit because, like I said, it has never happened to me before, and I am not aware of any of the dog laws. Okay, like how the dogs are protected. So I basically ran or tried to run, and the dog it seemed to run circles around me for some reason, and then tried to basically put its mouth on my leg, because I was told the dog doesn't bite, but I have to be careful about these things. And eventually I ran just at the entrance of Walmart, and there's a bunch of people who basically formed a human wall in front of me, and everything was okay from there. Now, interestingly enough, the dog was called Chase. So maybe the dog was a little confused because the owner was constantly screaming Chase. So the dog was confused. I'm like, okay, the dog, like, do I chase the blind man, or is he calling my name? But anyways, later on, I found out that, yeah, I am allowed to protect myself, and it's the owner's fault and all that. And what I found out later on, and this actually what explains my observation earlier, is that the dog was circling around me because I had my cane extended. The dog was trying to grab my cane, and when it came for my leg, my cane was beside my leg. So that's why I don't think it tried to properly bite my leg, but it tried to grab my cane. And ironically enough, like, when I was coming back from the gym today, I was tapping my cane against the floor, or against, the pavement or sidewalk or whatever you call it. And a dog started barking. I suddenly stopped tapping it against the sidewalk, and the dog stopped barking. Now, to all of you legally blind cane users, have you noticed this phenomenon with untrained dogs? Because I have a feeling guide dogs are trained to recognize the sound of a cane as something that is non-threatening. And that's why they don't freak out. Not a single guide dog freaked out at the sound of my cane. In fact, the one dog that actually, like, came up to me, tried to play with me, was actually my former boss's dog. And I'm like, okay, this is the one dog that did not try to kill me. But now I'm starting to realize that they're freaked out by the sound of the hook tip of the cane, basically tapping against the sidewalk. So guys, let me know in the comment section below if this is something you have observed as well, that is just a sound that makes dogs scared or something, or do they just run out to play fetch? Because if that's the case, then I have, see, this is one thing I said, this is Florida, and you come across very vicious sounding dogs, okay? I call these R&B dogs, okay? Because they have very deep growls and barks, okay? It's almost like, like well-trained R&B singers, like, when they basically make, Harley Davidson motor noises, just through their vocal cords. So I gotta be a bit careful, okay? Because blind man does not know how to climb tree. Okay. The second experience I had, and to give you a bit more context, okay, I am not a tech savvy person. I am in human psychology, okay. I'm in educational psychology, and I've my first master's in biomedical sciences, okay. And this is like something where I cannot do anything DIY by looking up a YouTube video. Okay, so if anyone has any ideas on making content on how to perform these type of procedures as a blind person, let me know if you want me to do something like that, or if you want to do something like that yourself. As you know, as I'm a legally blind person living alone, like filming will be a bit of an issue. Uh, but I'll see what I can do. Okay. My PC that has been running for basically almost 10 years now, it finally stopped working. And in fact, as of this recording, the additional SSD 512 gig memory I installed, basically a few hours ago stopped working as well. So I gotta take it to the shop tomorrow. But yeah, it stopped working, and I basically started to panic because all my life's work is in this PC. Okay. I've seen some DIY videos about how to clean up the power supply. And I figured this was a problem with the power supply because Geek Squad told me that this computer looks very dusty. So it's most likely a clogged power supply. And my family member also said the same thing, that it's probably a clogged power supply, or a messed up power supply. Um, so I have seen videos on how to clean a power supply, and there's specific instructions on what to touch and what not to touch. As a legally blind person, I cannot do that I cannot perform surgery on a tower computer, because putting everything back together it's an impossibility for me. Okay, so here's where something that is seemingly a bit more archaic, or rather old-fashioned, really helps out someone like me. Computer shops, computer repair shops. Yes, a lot of people might not use this anymore, but for people like me, okay, who wants to live a bit more autonomously, with minimal reliance on assistance or handouts from others, and that comes with its own barrage of challenges, both psychological and physical. These type of services are very, very crucial, because what was wrong was simply the ATX power supply just died out, and I had to replace the ATX power supply, and it's working pretty well right now. So what this involved, like I said, is me unplugging the computer, and I'm one man, I don't drive, okay? Literally putting my CPU in a shopping bag, big shopping bag, and lugging it basically, into an Uber, and out of an Uber, and basically everything with just two hands, holding my blind cane and a CPU at the same time. So I don't know if there's some way where something like this can be strapped to your back, because I don't think backpacks are that big, where you can put an entire CPU in it. But yeah, it's just part of the challenges of living in a place where you are not allowed to drive as a legally blind person, because you cannot get the driving license. Okay, so this just goes to show that when it comes to tech problems, businesses that actually provide tech support, not just telling you to do something online, or giving you instructions online on what to take out and what to put in, it is still something very useful for legally blind people like myself, who aren't necessarily tech savvy, because not every legally blind person is going to be a computer engineer and can basically build their own computer, installing the motherboards, the RAMs, the graphic cards, the advanced cooling systems and everything. So it just goes to show that some technology that might seem rather obsolete, might still be useful for people who have certain type of disabilities like myself. Anyways, those are just two life experiences as a legally blind person, and basically my just a little bit of advice on what problems I faced and how I managed to solve or temporarily solve those problems. And Uber, providing that discount, and I believe in some cases, depending on the insurance you're carrying or the place you're living, some Uber rides might be free, especially if you have this type of a disability. So this is very welcome for people like us. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you had any such experiences, or if you have any ideas on how to solve these type of problems more efficiently in the future for legally blind people. And let's have a healthy discussion. And it's all about it's all about educating and supporting each other. Anyways, this is Blind Man Review signing out. Please do hit that like, subscribe, bell notification buttons. Follow me on Twitter at TanTiger01.